Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, IHT. And today we're going to look at recreating one of the videos that I have been trying to share with people, but unfortunately it didn't remain online very long before it got taken down through a defamation claim against that video. And that video was my Greg Secker and Learn to Trade review video. It's still online, but it's unviewable in the UK, hence why we're going to be doing a UK version today. And in this series, we're going to add this UK version, and hopefully, you know, it's taken in the light it's meant to be. This is based on my absolute personal experience with this company. You know, it's you know, my honest opinion is what I experienced. It's what I you know, looked into over the years after that to sort of understand where I went wrong and things like this. But you know, just to make sure that everybody's aware of the situation and things, this UK version will show that I was a paying customer of this company. Obviously, I've redacted any personal information here, but this was my welcome back in 2021, late 2021. And yeah, I was welcomed aboard. I'm actually going to show you my invoice as well. And again, I've redacted some personal information. Of course I would. But let's have a look at the invoice as well, because there were some alarm bells immediately, but I didn't see these until now, right? I didn't see these until I went back and was like, where did it go wrong? Why did I get roped into this? And you know, spoiler alert, this is not a positive review. This is a negative review because of my experience. But this is me. I'm just talking about me, not everybody else or whatever, just me, right? So let's have a look at the invoice. Okay, so let's have a look at the invoice. Now, hopefully there's people out there that are going to see something straight away that's a bit of an alarm bell, right? But for me at the time, well, I say but, for me at the time, I was a little bit taken back by receiving this invoice on here. So if we look at where we're getting it from, this is from learn2trade.co.uk. It's a UK company, right? And you know, Greg's British, you know, he's from UK, well, I presume he's British, I don't know, but you know, he's from the UK, and I'm dealing with Learn to Trade. I'm speaking to people, they're all like, you know, it's a London number and blah, 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 like, you know, chat. And, but my problem with this is that I get this invoice from SmartCharts. And I'm like, I can remember even saying to like the account manager or whoever I was dealing with, I'm like, who am I dealing with? Am I dealing with Learn to Trade or am I dealing with SmartCharts? And again, that was what was really, you know, something that was concerning for me. And as you can see here, the product I was paying for was the Learn Forex program, SmartCharts UK. But like, you know, like I said, you know, who am I dealing with? It was a bit weird, and then now I've only really just sort of like, you know, penny drop type thing since I've done this review video and I've done my research again to make sure it's legitimate for the UK, and that I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. But look at where the invoice came from. Ding 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 ding. It's not even a UK company. It's not even a UK company. It's registered in Sydney, Australia. And here's the registration details at the bottom of the invoice. Like, I don't know why, but like I was so intent and so sort of, you know, well, I was just so intent on learning to trade. I you know, I was struggling. You know, I'd done a previous course with somebody else as well, a US firm, like they were doing stocks at the time. I was started to get interested in Forex, hence why I started to come across Greg and his channel. But yeah, so, you know, already I should be saying, or you should be saying, yeah, maybe this is not a company that I need to be working with, especially if I'm getting told it's one thing and not another. And that was sort of, for me, I'd like to think I'm pretty smart, but clearly I was just overtaken by my lust for trying to be successful, and being, a successful trader as quick as I possibly could. And I thought, if I throw money at this company, they're gonna teach me everything I need to know, right? So, as I say, you cannot separate Greg from Learn to Trade. His YouTube channel is called Greg Secker Learn to Trade, right? So, and that's public, information that's out there on YouTube. That's YouTube channel. And I started sort of like following Greg, and I subscribed to his channel, as many did. And at the time, I think his subscriptions were probably about like 10,000, probably less than 10,000 subscribers he had. And we'll look at his channel in a minute, and sort of some of the things that I was interested in, that sort of hooked me in. But yeah, like I said, this is the review. This is my opinions. Is innocent enough. I'm just trying to share that as I would do with friends. I'm sharing it with my subscribers and anyone else who wants to subscribe, and continue to hear about my experiences. So we'll try and fit a few things in this sort of video, this review video. We'll look at some of the websites, because some of the websites are a bit conflicting, and that was, again, once I started to really feel that things weren't working or things weren't as they should be, I started to realize that this was like I was down that rabbit hole. I really was down that fucking rabbit hole, and it was not a good feeling. Things weren't working. I was working with my coach, blah blah blah, and then my coach started to ask me for money directly, and I was fucking stupid, but I did it. And so he WhatsApped me his bank details, and I'm doing that, and then he's giving me larger access to the platform. And anyway, I don't want to go into too much details around that particular incident, because obviously I can't show you that evidence, because obviously I would end up showing you my bank details, and obviously his as well, which is not what I want to be doing. And we don't need to go there, because there's enough here to really sort of understand that I had made a mistake. Yeah, I had really made a mistake. So let's go ahead and have a look at the websites, and let's just see where I started to sort of pick up a few alarm bells. Okay, so here we are on the Learn to Trade group.com website, Greg's company. Yeah, and you can go through Company's House, you can do all of that, and it's just public information, right? You can see where the lines of ownership come in, and Greg's history on company ownership. It's just normal public information. But look, award-winning, talks a little bit about Forex. All of these are normal things. It shows you a bit about SmartCharts there. All of these are normal things to try and clickbait you in, right? It's just normal stuff. We'll actually look at Trustpilot in a second. I do not trust Trustpilot if you paid me, but that's another conversation when we get there. But looking at the website, it's very, it's good marketing, right? It's what it's all about nowadays, is marketing, getting clickbaits, getting people to go through. I'm not poo-pooing it. I think, whoever his designer is a good designer from a web point of view. All these awards, they are paid for awards, right? Let's just be realistic, right? It's easy to get awards, especially when, you can be an influencer within those awards as well. Blimey, it is easy, is all I'm saying. It's so easy, even in different markets and verticals that you might have companies in. If you pay enough money, you'll get on the ladder, and then you can buy certain sponsorship levels that basically creates you as an award winner, but actually what you are is a sponsorship winner. Yeah, so it's and these are really old awards that we see here from the financial awards. It's not really not great. We talk about their platform here. One of the things that, you can look at this yourself, but I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom past Greg. Hi, Greg. And here, so look, find us Learn to Trade Limited, right? But their registered company, okay, that I got my invoice from and all the rest of it is here, right? 141 Walker Street, North Sydney, okay? So let's jump over to SmartCharts, which is his main platform, obviously. And again, Greg has a stake in it, right? You can find all this information online. Like I said, I'll let you do it, whatever. But and I'm told this when I joined and went through. Oh yeah, Greg and his colleague. You've probably seen the adverts with Greg and his Australian mate, or New Zealand, or wherever he's from, Australia, I think. But they talk about sort of like why they did what they did and how and all the rest of it. And it's a big story for when you join and you get taken through this big presentation and all the rest of it, and it is what it is, right? But we'll check out SmartCharts in a bit, and then we'll go down to here for the registered address for the company, 141 Walker Street. It's the same address, right? SmartCharts is Learn to Trade. Learn to Trade and SmartCharts are together. Greg Secker is invested in both of them, right? So not only when you learn to trade, you have to use SmartCharts. You can use other things as well, but if you want to get your journals and things like that, you have to be on it. But not only that, if you want to trade via it and go to the signals and do all the interactions with it, you have to be a member of Capital Index. Okay, now Capital Index is a UK-based broker, or they say they're a UK-based broker. In fact, actually, Capital Index company registration is there, but actually they have a host company in Cyprus, which is branded as a technology service provider. And you do the maths, right? And there's your UK limited company, only serves clients who are resident in the UK. Well, UK's his big hunting ground. And anyway, yeah, it's just sort of like things like this or things that, when I started going through, I never even heard of Capital Index. Capital Index gets thrust upon you when you start using the platform. And again, we'll come back to the platform in a minute, okay? But that's the websites, and like I said, looking back on it now, I'm like, well, who am I really dealing with? Is it this guy? Is it this guy's company? Is it Learn to Trade Group? Is it learntotrade.co.uk? Is it SmartCharts? Is it, there's so many different companies that you will get exposed to in this experience, just as I did, that it's very difficult to understand who you're dealing with. And all I will say is make sure you read the small print, make sure you understand who you're working with, because it is not, it's really unsettling. For me, it was really unsettling. It was a real struggle, for me, to come to grips with like sort of all these things going on. And in my head, I'm like, oh, damn, like this is what have I done? What have I done? Is like $3,000 I've just spent on this thing, and I'm starting to, get asked for more money already, and I've only been working with them for like days, stuff like this. It just really wasn't very, very comfortable situation. But anyway, let's look at the next thing we're going to talk about. So let's have a look at Trustpilot. We're only going to briefly look at Trustpilot because I went here, I had a look at Trustpilot. I tried to sort of do due diligence and find reviews online and things, but it's really difficult with Learn to Trade or even Greg Secker. It's very difficult to, apart from his YouTube channel, which is obviously it's him, there is nothing out there. There is nothing out there, and I have a video on that as well, because it's just that should have been alarm bells for me. Why is no one using SmartCharts? Why is no one using this broker? Why is no one talking about it and educating other people outside of this little company group that I'm now invested in, and I'm trying to make it work, right? So yeah, it was difficult. So here's Learn to Trade. Wow, 4.3. I'm thinking, you know what? This is great. I'm looking at everybody's 5 stars and all the rest of it. And then I think, you know what? Let's have a look at the 1 stars, because you know, we need to. I need to understand like what's going on. And you know, what I will say is that I did give some 1-star reviews. They are no longer on Trustpilot. Let's just put it that way. Just like my videos on YouTube, whenever I've tried to sort of talk about my personal experience, it's not been on for long. And you know, these 1-star reviews here, you know, this has been up for 2 hours now. Like at the point of recording this video, this will not be on there for long. Yeah, and these replies, like, oh yeah, they've replied and they've tried to explain themselves. They're only doing that whilst they make a dispute to Trustpilot. And by the way, you can pay a subscription to Trustpilot as a company, by the way, just so you know. But yeah, it's you know, these won't be on here for a long time. You know, they really won't. And you know, there is a lot of them. You know, and again, you can. There's horrible companies out there that will create things for you. I'm not saying Learn to Trade have done this, because I don't know. Nobody will know apart from them. But you know, you can stimulate any feedback and manipulate this by posting reviews and 5 stars all the time and things like that. But nothing's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. So why is it you know, right up there in the top of the line, like, you know, and some of the best companies in the world, they're not at this level from a Trustpilot point of view, right? So it is alarm bells for me. And now I look back, everything's obvious, right? When you've done it, hindsight's a wonderful thing. But yeah, you know, again, this is public information. This is the UK Trustpilot.com website, and you can have a look at these reviews and things. But it's just, there can't be these many people. You know, you'll always have people that have a bad experience with you as a company. You will, right? You know, in my career, I've had to deal with people that don't have a good experience. They don't like what you do, and then they're negative on you, and that's fine. But you know, out of 1,000 people, to have, you know, 10% of that 1,000, that's 100 people. That's 1 in 10 has a bad experience. Like, look at the numbers, right? 1 in 10 people have a bad experience. And if we assume that there's some sort of foul play with the review system and things like that, and again, it's just my opinion, because we all know how easy it is to do it. You know, I could write, you know, my mate rings me up and says, oh, you know, can you write a review on Learn to Trade on Trustpilot for me? And I go, yeah, cool, bang, 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 there you go, 5 stars. I mean, everyone could do it. Yeah, so it's not hard. I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not insinuating anything. I'm insinuating something, but the point is, I'm not saying that they're doing it, because you'll never know. But the point is that these are, you know, these 1 stars. That's 10%. In fact, it's more than it's 10% of these reviews, and that's quite a lot, I'm afraid. That means that something's not quite right. I'm not saying that there should be like 100%, but where's the 3 stars? Oh yeah, it's good, I learned a lot, but you know, I'm still struggling with trading. You know what I mean? Like, where are those? Because there's not a lot of that, and that's what you would think from trading, because it is so fucking hard, right? Trading is so hard. So why is it all or nothing? Why is it all or nothing? Because that don't add up to me. And like I said, now hindsight, and I read these, and I read the 4s, and I read the 5s, and blah blah blah. It's sort of like, you know, I want to see, like, in a good company, I want to see an average here. I don't want to go like, oh, everyone either loves you or hates you. It's not fucking Marmite. You know, this is completely fucking different, right? This is about you spending your money to learn something, and 1 in 10 people are saying this, and it's either or. It don't add up. It really don't add up, I'm afraid. So yeah, that's my personal opinion and my observation. And like I said, hindsight on Trustpilot reviews, I don't agree with how it looks. It just doesn't look right for me. Yeah. So SmartCharts and the broker. Let's have a look at those two things, and I'll talk about a couple of things that I've seen and where I'm at. So I just jumped into Greg's video because he shows us everything about SmartCharts, right? So it's an easy place to relate to it. Obviously, I'm not subscribed to it anymore. I don't think I would be allowed to because I think they sort of know who I am, so I haven't even attempted to log in. Just because I'm attracting too much attention from them and whatever. But anyway, it is what it is. So this is quite interesting actually as well. This is new over the last sort of like 12, 18 months that they put this new sort of thing here, ideas. And I do talk about AI trading because, and I've done a video on that recently, and it's, AI trading is just... yeah, it's just a gimmick really, and it's certainly not anything you should be investing heavily in. But the big thing is, and I'll try and find another video, an early video of Greg's where this is not called, it's the same thing, but it's not called Patterns AI or Price Setups AI. Because actually when this first came out and it was introduced to us, when I say us, I mean the subscribers to SmartCharts and Learn to Trade, it was described as a group of real traders, real analysts that were showing us what they were interested in and what they were looking at, and it was up to us to, if we wanted to, we could follow them and take the trades that they were taking. And that was actually how it was sold to us. And now it's obviously with AI and how sort of everyone's talking about AI, it suddenly magically has been renamed, and so it is a little bit of an alarm bell for me now. Like and I'm not part of it anymore. I'm trading myself, so I don't need to be. But it's sort of like again, it's really disappointing, really, how I've gone through it and just seeing all these little things that happened when I was subscribed and using the service that. It really was, like I said, it was alarm bells, and I should have. Hindsight's such a wonderful thing. But anyway, let me see if I can find that video of his that shows this as a completely different branding. I did raise it in another video, so he might have. And if they've seen that, which I'm sure they have, maybe they've taken it down. But just give me 2 seconds. Okay, so here we are, and we can see that, like I say, in that last video, it was Patterns AI and Price Setups AI. I'm going to try and find another one because it's been renamed like so many times. But look, powered by AutoChartist and powered by Signal Center. These are companies, by the way. And I believe Signal Center is a company because, again, that's how they were introduced to us. Like, it was people, it was real life traders, and Learn to Trade or SmartCharts had partnered with them to be able to sort of give us some better alerts or whatever, or signals, blah blah blah. So again, like I said, it's sort of we're going back in time. 7 months ago, this was not called just Patterns AI. It was powered by AutoChartist and Signal Center. Google them if you will. But let's see if I can go right back and find that video. Yeah, I cannot find this fucking video. Maybe I'll find it in my own video and then I can show you it as well. But yeah, they've taken it down because they've renamed it a few times now, and it might just be me because I haven't found it or whatever. But yeah, it's just, again, like I said,
expecting a pull.
It's it's been renamed a few times, but probably because they were disputing rights to these people or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, just surmising, again, my own opinion. But anyway, let's sort of crack on with SmartCharts.
So
I've got one of his amazing strategies here, and I did a video on his breakfast breakout strategy actually, which got restricted from the UK because it was a bit too close to the line for him. But let's have a look at SmartCharts, because he's going to do something. He's going to show us something here on SmartCharts. Just going to mute him. And this is SmartCharts as a UI. Like, now, up until the point when I joined Learn to Trade, I was used to using TradingView, right? And hopefully you all use TradingView, or if you don't, then you know, get on it. It's good. You don't have to pay for it. I'm certainly not sponsored by them. You know, I wish, but yeah, they it's a good platform, and most people are on it, and there's so many YouTube and training videos out there. It's just really useful, and real good supportive community, I think. Great technology. This is not TradingView, right? And it was, for me, and maybe it's been improved in the last year since the last time I was on it, which was probably about a year ago, but oh my God, was it painful. I really struggled with it, really struggled with it. With TradingView, you can move the screen around, like the market, and you can zoom in and out. That is two separate functions, or it was, in SmartCharts. So if you want to zoom in and out or move it around, you have to use these tools at the top to manipulate your action and then do it. So you're constantly fighting with it, and for me, it wasn't comfortable. It wasn't a comfortable thing. Now, the layout in it is again, pretty obvious. However, maybe let me just put this as, yeah, it's bigger. Yeah, so along the top, trades is just sort of trade journal. So this tells you what trades you've got on and off, and what's happened. Your journal isn't actually accessible. You cannot use the journal unless you're on a capital index fund, like, you know, real account. You cannot use a capital index trial account, so a demo account, and journaling. Journaling doesn't work. So if you're trying to learn to trade, they won't allow you to journal what you're doing and how you're learning your progress on a you know, like a demo account, like where you should be practicing anyway, right? On a paper account. They don't give you that fun. It's actually blocked. So, or it was the last time I had it, right? And the other thing as well, when you look at this, is that what they do in the training, and in my training back, you know, in 2022, they tell you that the best way to learn to trade is by doing it with real money, because it's rough, it's raw, and you should be doing it. And it's all a ploy anyway to sort of get you into paying for the next level of courses and subscriptions and things like that. But also it's to fund the account in here, because the broker here is, you know, again, it's set up by Greg and his team and whoever, you know, again, Google it, find out yourself, but it's all linked, and it's the only broker that's connected to this platform. For TradingView, for example, they have tons of brokers, right, that are integrated into their platform, where you can take active trades, really good UI, different levels of development they have with these brokers. But yeah, it's a lot better. But anyway, when you come into Learn to Trade, that $3,000 I spent, you get access to these strategies, and I'm doing that funny finger thing where I hold up my two hands with the two fingers doing the bunny ears, because strategies, very loose, it's signals, right? It's signals. It's basically indicators bundled together that create signals. But actually, and I'll move him on here as he brings out strategies, look how many strategies you get access to. Yeah, wow. No, you don't. You don't actually get access to all these strategies. You get access to a few. I believe it's 4. So 180 phase changer. We're going to go over to the right, and we're going to see T-wave. Yeah, so you get access to that. And what was the other ones? Volatility reversal. and I thought there was one more. Maybe it was back there. But anyway, you don't get access to all of these strategies when you first subscribe, right? You do not get access. And even if you go onto the top tier of SmartCharts access, you cannot go on it unless you're part of the next level of learning to trade subscription, which is also another load of money to invest. So, you know, all of this, when I first got on it and I got to the platform, I was like, why is it all grayed out? And I can remember sending the message over like, oh, it seems to be a problem. I don't have access to this. And they're like, no, you don't. Like, read the small print, you fucking idiot. You know, that wasn't their exact words, but, you know, for me, I'm like, fucking, what have I done here? So it's, again, a lot of alarm bells going off for me, and I'm like, oh man, like, you know, they're raving about breakfast breakout, like his video. I watched this video and I'm like, fucking hell, yeah, that's right up my street. I can do it before work. I can, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's magic. It's like, you know, watch this video of Greg's. It's like, it's for beginners, but the beginner course for Learn to Trade, you actually don't even get access to it. So yeah, you know, that was my, like, I'm scratching my head and I'm thinking, oh, like, what have I fucking done here? Like, you know, and anyway, you see these flashy alerts that are all over the screen, bang. All these are ones that these strategies have picked out and gone, oh yeah, there's a setup. Now, the other thing as well, and I talked about this before in AI, is that when you use a program or a strategy that's a computative strategy like an AI strategy, it doesn't cater for the human touch. And what I mean by that is that all markets are driven by not computer programs. They're driven by human beings. Whether or not you use computer technology for analysis, the buy button, the sell button is actually done by a human being. And when I mean by a human being, I mean the human beings that actually move the market, not you or I, yeah, like small traders. Even if we're trading on, like, you know, $1 million account or a $5 million account or whatever, you're still a tiny player in a great ocean. So, you know, this is what moves the market. You know, human beings, they make decisions and they move it. If AI was really in control, the market would never move because it would completely counteract itself constantly. There would be no movement because there's no emotion, there's no human drive, there's no randomness to, oh, today I'm going to do this because I'm an influencer and that's what I want to do, and off the market goes. And these big institutions are what moves the market. AI won't have that, right? So it will never move the market. So, like I say, it's really difficult. But, you know, going into these, you can select them. I'm going to sort of scoot on a little bit here until he brings it. And then here's the wow technology. Well, no, this is just an indicator. And actually, this is not called breakfast breakout. If you really want to Google this actual thing, it's actually called the IDR and DR strategy, which is basically giving you banding. But I'm just going to go off on one and talk to you about the strategy. But find my other video. In fact, it's been banned for the UK, so you'd have to, you know, see it from another country in order to view it. But yeah, like I said, so these strategies are actually indicators that will flash up and say, here's an indicator, but it's up to you to decide whether or not you're going to take that trade based on a lot of other stuff, namely price action. And that's really where you need to be aware that if you're paying for these types of courses and things, they're just trying to give you an indicator so that in a small instant you get a flurry of winners, and then suddenly guess what you're going to do? You're going to give them more money, right? And then guess what? Actually, the strategy isn't that great. You can't always, rely on it and blah blah blah. I did T-Wave and 180 phase changer, and in 7 months, I just could not get it to work. You know, 99%, well, not 90, say 75, no, probably 80% of the time, you couldn't take the trade because it wasn't a setup. Even though it was telling you it was, the coach was always saying, no, don't do that one, don't do that one, don't do that one. That's not a good trade. Just ignore those signals. So it's just, it's like, for fuck's sake, it was so frustrating for me when I was in it. I was like, you know what, I'm a mug. I've been mugged, crazy. But like I said, you're restricted by this broker. You have to subscribe to this broker in order to get a lot of the benefits out of SmartCharts, like the journal. The journal, is always good. You should have a journal anyway with trading, but you can't access that until you have a live account. Even having an account, which I did in Capital Index, and I was using the paper trading, so the demo account, because I was learning. I didn't want to spend more money. I'd already spent $3,000. Why do I need to spend more? But you don't get access to journal. It's really like, I was like, you're just forcing me to do it now, and it just took the seriousness out of it. It took the trust out of it, and it really, it wasn't a nice situation really for me. If I'm honest, it just really wasn't a nice situation. But anyway, you live and you learn, and that's where it is. Okay, so the summary on Learn to Trade. Pros, I definitely learned a lesson. Yeah, without a doubt. Like I say, hindsight's a wonderful thing. In my opinion, I should have never have gone down that road. I spent far too much money on it, and I learned the hard way that what I did learn from Learn to Trade and SmartCharts and Capital Index was that the whole industry is not as lovely and rosy and professional as you'd like to think. It's unregulated. These training industries for trading is unregulated, and I just think, when you have that autonomy to just do what you're doing and whatever, it's just, it really did. I learned a big lesson. For me, cons, definitely overpriced for what I got. The software solution wasn't great. SmartCharts, I really couldn't get on with it. Maybe it was me. Maybe it was just me, right? I'm the 1 in 10 Trustpilot reviewers that just didn't get on. Maybe I was that 1 in 10. Who knows, right? But yeah, it was difficult, and I just didn't get what I thought I was going to get, and then being continually asked, and suddenly you're starting to see the small print of your contract that you've just signed with them start to unravel in front of your eyes, where you start to see the restrictions. Oh, why am I not seeing all my strategies? Oh no, you don't get those yet. Little things like this were, again, really difficult for me to take as a like I said, I think of myself as pretty smart guy, but I was like, oh man, I've been done, and I couldn't get past this, like, well, maybe I could get here and maybe I could do that, and they're like, no, you have to be spending this kind of money, or you need to be spending this, or you need to subscribe to that, or you need to be using a funded, putting money in the Capital Index account to get that. And it was just far too much. It was really, really far too much. And yeah, it was just all these things. And, I just didn't get what I felt I was promised. So realistically, what I would say is that, just understand trading is hard. It's really, really hard, and it's not going to come to us easily. Most successful traders will learn to trade for years. Yeah, and I'm not saying learn to trade as in with Greg Secker's Learn to Trade. I mean, just the whole process of learning to trade. It takes a long time. It's nothing that you can, go into it and think, right, all I need to do is just learn this little bit, and then surely I'm able to do it. The market moves, look at it going up. Wow, like all I need to do is know when it's going to go up. Well, guess what? You will never know. All you can do is just start to learn the idea and the concepts around having a strategy, making your strategy work, And you know what? And I've said this in other videos. You know, trading is 80% psychology, and nobody will like me saying that, but it is. It's 80% psychology. It's got nothing to do with the strategy. 20% strategy. You just got to stick to the strategy. But the problem is that psychologically you want to do everything, right? You want to be a millionaire today, but it doesn't work like that. It's a long game. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a get, broke quick scheme. If you do not understand that, paying these kind of monies to these people or individuals out there that will, trying to fast track you into trading, it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work. I'm speaking from my experience and my opinions, and I really, really struggled with it. And I've now met countless people that tell me the same. It's just, even people that are traders that I'm now, sort of meeting, they say one person I know, it took them 6 years to actually be profitable. And boy, are they profitable now. But that's how long it can take sometimes. And that's not even the longest, right? Some people have traded for like 10, 20 years before they start, falling into this is a pattern I can use. This is a strategy I can use, and I'm just going to stick to that. And I'm not going to do anything else or think about anything else. Like, that's the psychology of it. So, like I said, for me, learn to trade. I wouldn't go back and if anyone talks to me, about my experience, then I would be saying, yeah, don't do it. You're not going to get what you think you're going to get. And like I say, it's just, it's my opinions on it. And, it's my experiences like this that has led to the point that just makes me say, I fucking hate trading.